Gentlemen, keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. The takeaway's the main thing. Seems I'm always a one at fault. Certain things about a woman attract me especially. The more I got to know her, oh, the more it fed my fantasy. Thought I had things figured out, be alright in this world, but I'm in the same situation with a different girl. Same situation, different girl. Oh, we had a cool conversation. Always made me feel kind of mellow. With time I felt a strong impression that I could be her kind of fellow. Whenever she would send me a message, my heart would fill with light. I know the girl's busy and her time is so precious. Every moment with her is pure dynamite. Thought I had it together and be alright in this world, but it's the same situation, different girl. Same situation, different girl. Woman up and told me she was taken, pledged her love to another guy. She said she didn't know my heart she was breaking. I'm guilty of loving her and that's no alibi. I'm ready to serve my time. Maybe we'll be together somewhere down the line. Somewhere down the line. I sent this girl hearts and flowers, showed her the way for more money to find. Serenaded this girl for hours. She said she would be my Valentine. My good friend told me, man, you keep doing the same thing over and over, in this trouble you'll end. Now here you are crying again. How many more tears can your poor heart stand? Thought I had it figured out, would be alright in this world, but I'm in the same situation with a different girl. Same situation, different girl. Thank you for joining us. We'd like to ask you to go ahead and hit the like button and share. Like and share this broadcast right now. And if you're not a subscriber, we ask you to go ahead and subscribe. No longer being a ghost watcher, nor I have several ghost watchers, because I've seen, and a lot of times that I have viewers and I don't have enough, the likes don't match the views, so at least my likes should match my view. And if you would be a subscriber, I appreciate that. So we're here. This is basically your forum, yours and mine, to be able to get a synopsis and look back on the events, current events, whether it be in sports, politics, entertainment, that's going on in the American society this past week. Those of you who joined me when I first came on, my intro was my song, Same Situation, Different Girl. I released that under my group, the Passport Brothers. Then that song is available for purchase on my website, www.chilionsoul.com. And I wrote that and I performed that in honor of Jerry Butler, who passed away a week ago. Jerry Butler, born in Sunflower, Mississippi. Later on, he migrated, as many of black people did in the 40s and 50s, as you know, my parents migrated from the South, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee. He was actually born in Sunflower, Mississippi, I believe, and came to Chicago. And he established a music career there. And he eventually met his friend and a beautiful man, Curtis Mayfield, who I had the honor of meeting him. I saw him in a live, intimate setting in a smaller venue, the Park West Theater. And when his performance was over, I got a chance to shake Curtis Mayfield's hand. And I was able to refer to him and call him the king, because Curtis Mayfield is a king of soul. He's one of the greatest kings of soul that ever lived. I know they call James Brown the king, but I can tell you this, that Curtis Mayfield was definitely also a king of soul. And he started his career out with Jerry Butler in the Impressions group. And I like to share a personal point of reference here is, again, the song that I just played for you, and I'm going to play it again at the end of this broadcast. Same Situation, Different Girl, who I wrote. And that song was inspired by Philipina P. But when I sang that, I was thinking about Jerry Butler and thinking about him when I sang that song, and I did it. I sang that song in the style of Jerry Butler. And when you hear that song, you're hearing the soul and the spirit of Jerry Butler, who has passed away at the age of 85. And let me tell you a personal story I have about Jerry Butler. I met him personally. Those of you who may not know this, he became a Chicago politician. He ran for and served as Cook County Commissioner in Chicago, Illinois. He served in that capacity, I want to say almost 20 years, because I believe he got that position soon after we lost our great Mayor Harold Washington. So I believe he served 16, 18 years as a county commissioner. While he was a commissioner, he wrote and published a book, a autobiography. And of course, it was a must-have for me. So I made it a point to go down to the Cook County courthouse building at that time. And I met Mr. Butler personally at his book signing. As I look back on it now, I was kind of dismayed that he didn't have a big crowd. I mean, a person like this, I mean, he should have had a crowd when I got there. Should have been hundreds of people there to meet and greet him and buy his book. But as I remember, it didn't seem like it was a lot of people, but I would say I spent about 20 minutes, 20 or 30 minutes with him. I stayed, I think, there until he left. And we had a personal conversation. And during the conversation I had with Mr. Butler, I asked him, were you planning on doing any more albums? Are you working on any more music in the studio? And he said to me to the effect that he really wasn't doing anything too active at that time, because he said basically it's no use of putting out any records and nobody's going to buy them. There's no use in putting out any music if nobody's going to be listening to it, you know, and supporting it financially. So I never forgot that. That was 20 years ago we had that conversation. I will never forget him, Jerry Butler. I will never forget that conversation. And that conversation is the basis for a rap that I did on a cover song I did of Jerry Butler's. I recorded Giving Up on Love. I recorded a cover song that Jerry did called Giving Up on Love. And Giving Up on Love, Michael, is song that I just became familiar with. This was during COVID. I had a job at a hospital at the time during COVID time, and I just happened to randomly come across this record. I'd never heard it before, even though it had come out in 1964. And you know, I was born in 59, so I was old enough to have heard this song, but I'd heard, you know, He Will Break Your Heart and Your Precious Love, but I had the 45 of a couple of other ones he had, like When Trouble Calls. But I'd never heard this song, Giving Up on Love. And when I first heard it, I was so impressed and moved by this song. And I remember one day I played this song like 3 or 4 times in a row, and I was crying. I was sitting at my desk. I was an accountant then for South Shore Hospital. I was crying. Tears were coming from my eyes when I listened to Jerry Butler sing this particular song. It touched me so deeply because at the time I had given up on love. I had always had horrible luck with women, horrible fortunes. You know, they basically treated me like shit for the most part. I never really could, you know, really impress the woman that I liked. And that persisted right on up to the 2 years ago before I came to the Philippines. And as you all know, some of you, I got nowhere with this last woman that I fell in love with, and she's gonna be the last one that I fall in love with. But that was the subject of the song, Same Situation, Different Girl. And when I did it again, I was thinking of Jerry Butler. And Michael, you're saying that, and let me just put this on the screen so people can see this. I disagree with this. If you want to put music out because you love the craft, so be it. Well, Michael, that's what I'm doing. I've released about 20 singles and 6 albums. And inshallah, God willing, when I go back to America, I intend to finish 2 more albums. At least 2 albums, maybe even 3 albums. And yes, I'm recording music, I'm composing music, and I am putting it out. Ladies and gentlemen, it's on my website, www.chilionsoul.com. www.chilionsoul.com. All my music can be downloaded, and you can also become a subscriber to my streaming service, which is Geechee Line Music Radio. But I had to give tribute today to Jerry Butler, and the other song, that cover song that I did on Jerry for Giving Up on Love, I'm going to end my show today with that. Just talking about the fact that I wrote a song and performed a song in honor of Jerry Butler, and then I actually proceeded to record and release a cover song, which I will be playing that song at the end of this broadcast. But Jerry Butler was somebody I met personally, had personal impact on my music career. His voice, of course, I would say it's better than mine. Mine is not as good as his. Mine, but my voice sometimes is reminiscent of his. He's a baritone, and so am I. So when I do karaoke, my favorite people to sing like would be Jerry Butler, Barry White, Lou Rawls. Diamond, you asked me, did I ever meet Muddy Waters? No, I did not, but I did see Muddy Waters live. I saw him at the same place that I saw Curtis Mayfield. So I did see Muddy Waters perform live, and I did attend his funeral. I did go to Muddy Waters' funeral, which was held on the south side of Chicago. So, yeah, you can say I met him because I saw him live in concert, and then I did go to his funeral. But, again, I've been an admirer of music for over 60 years. I'm a musician myself. I've released over 20 songs. Let me talk about myself. I've released over 20 singles, and released, I believe, 6 albums. And the albums, as we talking music today, the albums that I've released, the first album I released was called Alone at Last. Alone at Last. And I recorded it under my name, Anwar, which was not my name, but it was also the name of the group at the time. Alone at Last, I released back in 1995. And then I released an EP cassette. I really didn't release it. I had them made up and I sold them personally. I wouldn't say I released them, but I did a cassette, EP cassette called Rulers of the World. And that contained 2 songs, 2 vocal, 2 instrumental. And then I didn't release any other music until like 2000, where I released my first single, Don't Call Jody. And I released the CD, Imperial Soul, under my group Imperial Soul and the Million Seller. I released 3 singles from that album: Don't Call Jody, Don't Call the Law, and Prepare for the Coming of the Lord. And then I proceeded to release a dance music version of my song Turn Up the Truth, Sat Kriya, which is like music that would be used for a yoga chant. I released that. I see you, GEROD. I'll be bringing up in a minute. I released Turn Up the Truth, I believe in 2020, 21. And then I proceeded to release a CD under my group Chi Soul. And the name of that CD was Wedding Day, which I did with this beautiful Chinese lady musician, who she played keyboard and for virtuoso on the keys. We did an album called Wedding Day, me and Mary Olive. And then I also did the second CD, which was a tribute to my musical father, Isaac Hayes. I did a CD called Hung Up on My Baby, it was also not totally a cover song because Isaac Hayes wrote the music, I wrote the words. Hung Up on My Baby was my second CD collection under my group Imperial Brown and the Million Seller. Also, I released the month that I came to the Philippines. I released 3 albums. I released the second CD by Chi Soul, which was Alone Together. I released the first CD by the Passport Brothers, another group of mine called the Passport Brothers. I released the Passport Brothers Movement. And then I released the first album under my name, Geechee Lion, called The Ministry. And that album was, of course, inspired by Filipina P. And my love for her, or some you call infatuation. She inspired me to write that album. And she was my muse. So, and then on 2023, last year, no, 2024, I released my third album by Imperial Brown and the Million Seller called Memphis Prince. Memphis Prince. So I've released 6 albums. Alone at Last, Alone Together, Passport Brothers Movement, Imperial Soul, Hung Up on My Baby. So you need to go to my website, the www.chilionssoul.com, and purchase some music. My album is there that I dedicated to Isaac Hayes. called Hung Up on My Baby. You want to go pick that up. Imperial Brown and the Million Seller, my album, my second album as Imperial Brown, Hung Up on My Baby. And I'm going to do, almost might as well do it now. Hung Up on My Baby was a song that Isaac Hayes released the music back in 1974. I was a 15-year-old boy. Other thing that was special around that time, I believe it was probably 1973. I was still in grammar school then, and I would visit my grammar school at the time on the west side of Chicago. And Isaac Hayes' movie, his first movie, was being filmed there. The movie was called Three Tough Guys. And they actually filmed some of that movie right next to my elementary school. I'm going to be doing a dedicated vlog about that. I went back there when I went back to Chicago, and I took some video of that area, so I'm going to be sharing some of that. But anyway, 40-something years later, I wrote lyrics to that song, and I recorded that song professionally and released it. So go pick that up, Hung Up on My Baby, by Imperial Brown and the Million Seller, co-written by myself and my musical father, Isaac Hayes. But anyway, why don't you, GEROD, give us your thoughts on the passing, the career life of Mr. Jerry Butler?
Well, Jerry Butler is he's a true soul singer, you know, and he's not. I wouldn't consider him as classic soul. I would consider him as a soul singer. See, there's a difference between classic soul, you know, soul singer, and soul music. And Jerry Butler was one of the strong, dominant male voices back in the day. And I know You're So Proud, and a lot of the hits that we all know them. I was Googling it, and I was looking at a lot of the songs that he had done. People Get Ready, Ain't Nobody Mellow, Never Give You Up. Never Give You Up was never gonna give you up, no matter how you treat me. Oh man, that was the shit back in the day. But one thing I like about Jerry Butler is that Jerry Butler also did some collaborations with other male artists, with other artists. And one of his other artists who he collaborated with was Gene Chandler. So those of you who know Gene Chandler, I mean, you know, Gene Chandler was also the shit back in the day. And the two of them did a song that's on my playlist to this day, and it's called Take That Woman Off the Corner, Brother, because she could be yours if you want her. Because you remember back in the day, you know, there were a lot of songs, yeah, about the life or being in the life. But that was going, take that woman off the corner, brother. She can be yours if you want her. So yeah, so Jerry Butler was one of those artists who I truly admire. I still listen to his music, and I commend you for keeping the memory of Jerry Butler and those other artists alive, because I believe in that we should speak their names. You know, although they're no longer with us, we should speak their names. We just lost Roberta Flack. We also just lost what's the name? Chris Isley. You know, so you know these artists have been very instrumental in us, you know, growing up the way we have grown up in the music. Because I believe that when you're 17 years old, that's when you lose. That's the age you lose your innocence. Now, what I mean by the age you lose your innocence is that that's around the age when music becomes more important to you than it had before. Music starts coming around that time when you're 16 and 17, when you start dating, when you start thinking about the opposite sex, you know, when you start, you know, falling in love. And so, and these artists, this music has always been part of that that trend. I think music. I don't trust anything in the world but music, because music is not asking you for nothing. It's not trying to take nothing from you. It's not trying to con you. You know, it's not trying to block you. Right? You might block with it, but music is genuine, and the feelings that you feel for music is sincere. So that's why it's the only thing in this world I trust is music. And Gucci, Geechee, is nice hearing from you again. And I'm glad you reached out to me and told me about your live. I'm happy to be here and be aboard.
All right. Well, you know, thanks a whole lot, sir, because as I'm flashing names of Jerry's songs here, some of which I have, I'm going to be doing, I'm in Davao City. I plan on returning to this club here in Davao City, where I'm going to be doing probably about a 40 minutes concert, karaoke concert in Jerry Butler's honor. I'd like to do that sometime this week. I have a venue that I'm thinking about contacting where I can do that performance. I already prepared all the music, all my backing tracks are already recorded, so I can just have my lyrics on the video screen, and I can do all those songs. Definitely want to do it.
Well,
And,
you know.
Go ahead, Gerard.
Speaking of that, let me throw a little plug in here. Every Sunday morning at 7:30 a.m. Filipino time and 7 p.m. New York time, I do a show called the Sunday Morning Classics. As time goes by, so does music. And I highlight artists, bands, genres of music from back in the day. So if you listen, get a chance to, it's on Gerard Black in the Philippines with the Truth. Look for that. It's called As Time Goes By, So Does Music, on the Sunday Morning Classics.
Gerard, why don't you put that in the chat? Put it in the comment, and then I can have it show on the screen.
Okay, very good. Okay, I will do that.
Yeah, type that in the chat. That, again, lost a great one where he made a transition, Jerry Butler. Last week. And I definitely want to absolutely honor him in song today. I'm going to now look for my other song that I did. I told you I did do a cover song of Giving Up on Love, and I'm going to get ready to play that in its entirety. I'm going to play the album version, including my rap. Again, I want to thank you all for joining us. Just share this broadcast and like, again, just updating. But anyway, right now, I'm going to get ready to, again, end this show today as I honor the great Jerry Butler right now with a cover song I did of his called Giving Up on Love by Imperial Brown.
Give it up. Give it up.
My website and pick it up.
Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up.
You know, I've gotten to the point where I think I just want to give up. I look back on things I've said and done. Tried to communicate what I was thinking, what I was feeling, but things never came out the way I would have liked them to. Seems I was always trying to be nice, doing some favors, giving some gifts, and I wasn't necessarily doing it because I expected to get something, just trying to be friendly. Yeah, but in most of those cases, it was a woman I was attracted to. I've been single for a long time, and not because I wanted to be. I realized that I was seeking their approval, their validation, that I was a man not only capable, but worthy of love. I want love, I'm looking for love, and I naturally want to give it. My heart is open and willing to receive. My heart holds a fire, a gun for hire. And like Paladin, I have this gun and I'm willing to travel. I was listening to this song the other day, I'd never heard it before. It was by the Iceman from Chicago, Mr. GEROD BUTLER. He had recorded it so many years ago, I recall a conversation we had, and I let him know just how much I enjoyed his music. In the midst of that conversation, I asked Mr. Butler, when you gonna put out another album? You still recording in the studio? He looked at me and said, son, ain't no use in me doing no concert if nobody wanna come to it. No sense in me putting no record out if nobody wanna listen. I thought about what Jerry said in the song he sang. Then I thought about me and how much I found myself in the words of this song. Seemed like everything I've done was all in vain. When I needed sunshine, all I got was rain. I feel like giving up on love. This is not the first time it's happened before. Doesn't love me anymore. So I've had it, forget it, don't want it, you got it. I'm giving up on love before love gives up on me. Ooh. How much can you give and get nothing in return? And oh, how long do you live before you finally learn? So I've had it, oh forget it, I don't want it, brother you got it. I'm giving up on love before love gives up on me. I'm giving up today.
a damn. Said I'm giving up today, yes I am. She said don't call me, oh don't text me. Might as well sit down and do like Elvis Presley, sitting in a heartbreak hotel. Feels just like a living hell. I know this feeling oh so well. Oh, seems like it's the Love County Jail. I'm giving up today. I've had enough. Give it up. Oh, Lord. I'm giving up on the Lord. Oh, giving up today. Thank you for joining me. Next week, same time, God willing, with the expat's view of American current events. Would like to just mention here again, yes, not only we lost Jerry Butler, we also lost Roberta Flack. You know, I like some of her music. I wouldn't call her my favorite, one of my favorites, but want to acknowledge her. Also, I want to acknowledge Chris Jasper. Now, I would say he is one of my favorites because he was an integral part of the Isley Brothers. He co-wrote mostly all of their songs when they got into the golden era. So definitely love him, and want to acknowledge, I will be acknowledging Chris Jasper on a separate blog. Thank you for joining Geechee Line Journey. Like, please share this and subscribe. Good evening, good morning.